Today is July 15th, 2023. Oh, they followed me again today. I could hear them off in the distance, screaming stuff. So, I went through my statements again. That's when usually people scream or scatter. Last night was priceless. I got home. Well, I went to work in Hartville, then went over to Akron. My one client's husband, he said, a lot of people are using this for cut-throughs. And I seen a guy in a convertible and a cowboy hat and dark hair. I thought, oh my God. I hope that's just a coincidence. Because if they're here, there was a guy with a cowboy hat and horseshoe ring, an older guy. He was one of the main human traffickers. His son came up, and they were following me in a big part of this. That guy driving by with a cowboy hat, I thought, dear God, I hope they're not here. They're from Florida. Okay. And, when I went down to Maslin after work and I got Chinese. And I'm eating out in my car. And I'm playing my videos. Well, people are scattering in the Maslin police building. And they're sitting there and they're listening. And my tapes of, how I got sick, how I got well. Strangest Lies, so Dave could cheat. And then Ron using his family's tragedy to help further that occult. He ought to be ashamed of himself. He's a scammer. He's a scammer. Okay? And where they made fun of the FBI agent in Walmart to everything, okay? To where the guy running it is mocking everybody for fooling everyone. And then where Eric confessed in Walmart again. They tape an audio. Don't ever confess to a crime in a Walmart. Those cameras above you are hanging down. They're not just taping you. They're taping audio in every aisle. I was in the hair salon and where an officer had already told me they tape an audio in every aisle. The hair salon said one of the security guards were going to get fired. And I said, well, why? They said, well, he got caught in an aisle telling the kids to put stuff back because they would get arrested for shoplifting. And he wasn't hired to warn people. He was there to arrest them or detain them. And they caught him saying it in an aisle. Okay? Well, November 18, 22, Eric comes in that all the tapes before were him and not me. It was his idea to come up with it, his idea to do it, his idea to say it. For all these people turn on, and they fell for it. Other guys like, well, if it's only you, I could take care of it. I know it's that bad, and they still fell for it. Okay? November 18, 22, 2 to 6 p.m. by the hair salon. And they're saying the guy running it, June 30th, 23. I can't believe people would have him at a party. Why would you have a serial killer, a child rapist, and a child molester at your party? Are you nuts? The guy running it is a real socialite. The life of the party, how he stole everything from her. He fooled everyone into helping out, and he stole all the money for himself. How did a child molester get my money? And a serial killer? See, that's the point. What is a human trafficker? They grab women and children to be raped, to be sold as sex slaves, and then to be killed. They're serial killers. We put a nice name on the worst criminals. Okay? And the one video I'm uploading right now, I told you how my one coworker, she had talked about her family member getting taken in. They had people show up in stores and laugh how they tied her up and cut her in pieces. And I said, well, you know about the guy in the white van. How did you know about the white van that took my family member? She lives in Louisville. I said, the Florida plants that were here. She's like, yeah. She's like, they were in the local bars where her boyfriend would go. I said, you know about Henry Bobby? Sounds about right. He was with him. He tried to get him hold of me. The first month of the case, he thought it was beautiful. Okay? I showed her the picture from Instagram. That's not him, but he's with him. And I said, well, they said they were Gentlemen's Club from Florida. She's like, no, they said they were the Detroit boys. Now I want you to tell me how you knew about the white man. I didn't know how to do it. So I changed the subject. What am I supposed to say? I'm sorry, they killed your family member. My ex-husband hired him to abuse me, drug me, beat, rape me, and human traffic me. And I got hurt really bad, and I'm sorry your family member died. What am I supposed to say? So I changed the subject. I looked up the Detroit boys. They're into wiretapping. They have been in it with the feds before for wiretapping into other people's businesses. Now they're in the federal database. Okay? Well, on the way home, I stopped at a neighbor, sat and talked to him for a while. I go home and my neighbors are outside. We looked it up. We found a tape of those women admitting they sold to protect or sold the case. It was that. And we looked it up. It was them. We called the police on them. And the other neighbors were laughing. It's actually funny. What's going on? We looked at, they were telling everybody she has charges. She has nothing against her. They lied and made everything up. I'm like, that. I've never been questioned or wronged. I've never been prosecuted. I've never been found guilty. Those women were daring the FBI on Sunday. They wouldn't dare fix us after what other agents did. White House Tabernacle mocked FBI agent John for falling for their style the tapes before. He knew better. The Fourth Amendment over the house, nobody can be in your home. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements as entrapment. They go to jail. Even the FBI. Nobody can be in your home. It's illegal. It's illegal to look and listen. I've talked to the police. I looked it up on the Department of Justice. He knew better. And it was done by a drug cartel that can hack into businesses and now a federal database. Now, either FBI agent John gave that money to Eric, or they're into the informant money and they stole it. And they're stealing from the feds. Because June 7th, 23, Lighthouse Tabernacle is in Walmart 62. About 11 o'clock in the morning, FBI agent John fell for the tapes before. You're kidding, it was only a stunt. You mean John actually fell for it? Oh, come on. That FBI agent John fell for the stunt of the tapes before? You're kidding. It was just a stunt. A satanic stunt. He actually fell for it. Is that what's going on? FBI agent John fell for stunts of tapes before? Ha, 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 ha. Is that why they got away with it? That FBI agent fell for stunts of tapes before? Dave hired a retired judge in a drug cartel to drug, beat, and rape me, and the agent fell for it. Nobody said stupid. They said that he fell for Ron's lies. Then that makes him stupid too. It's been 20 years since that kid got killed in a traffic accident I had nothing to do with. I stopped talking to my neighbor about it. People were pulling in and turning around because my phone's tapped and they sold it. How I got sick, how I had to work with a doctor for 9 months and I went down like a balloon. Because I had endometriosis, started having kidney problems, kidney surgeries, gallbladder went bad, they took my appendix out, cut front and back 6 to 10 times, went into pain management, high doses of steroids, alternative drugs, gained over 100 pounds, went up to 24 women from 105. Legs are double in size. My legs are growing out from underneath me. The fluid's building up so bad in my body that my knees are popping out of place. Going to orthopedic doctors, having pulled turkey syringes out of my knees. They put me on, gave me braces for when I was out, and canes to stabilize me because my legs would go out from underneath me, and my feet are so swollen. I wear a 7.5 shoe, and I was wearing an 8.5 wide tight. My heart starts getting off. I end up in a cardiac ward. My thyroid stops working, my adrenal gland, and then my pituitary gland. My face is turning round from the swelling. I'm dying. from the meds they're giving me. And they're not catching it. And they're like, maybe there's more underlying conditions. No, it was a medication error. Joanne told me about this doctor gives you high doses of pain medicine, gets you out moving. Went seeing him. He started me on fentanyl. Fentanyl's 100 times stronger than morphine and 50 times stronger than heroin. Muscle relaxers and break if I got too much pain Vicodins. I threw up the first month. Threw up and threw up. The second month, I could drive a car. Start pulling myself around stores, back allotments. I went from a 24 women down in 7 months to a 16. Down to an 8 regular shoot that was loose. Still pulling myself around. Fibromyalgia is the pain syndrome from being hurt. Your muscles lock up. And where I've been cut front to back, top of my stomach to the bottom and then my back, everything locked up. And then the pain management medicine was a medication error. And it almost killed me. And I had to get off everything, and it took months and months for everything to go down. And as everything went down, my thyroid started working, my pituitary gland started, the swelling went down, I didn't need the heart medicine. My adrenal gland started working. And 7 months into it, when Brian showed up, we were all at home, and Phil had ran a stop sign, and semi hit him. And they both have been killed. We had nothing to do with it, not me or my family. Well, 2 months later, I'm down to about a 14. And my muscles had got strong and lean enough. A missionary showed up, and I'm still been pulling myself around. And everybody's been making over me. Look how much weight you're losing. We always see you out pulling yourself around allotments, stores, malls. You'll beat this, Karen. I said, well, they talk about spontaneous remission, and my mom told everybody. And Kieran's going to beat this, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, he prayed for me, fight through the pain. I already was doing that. Rebuke the pain. I already was doing that. You'll beat this. And 4 days later, I finally went into spontaneous remission. It does it 80% of the time. It's a pain syndrome that your muscles lock up after a tragedy or being hurt. Well, with all those surgeries, my muscles had locked up, and it was a medication error. Now, all my family physicians, because I did call the FBI, I was put in protected custody. There was a cop sitting, at least one, if not more, in the other room. They told me and my ex-husband, even before the case, it was a medication error. He always blamed the steroids, but they had you on so many medications. Hard telling which medication made you swell up like that or the combination thereof. They had me on like 10, 15 drugs. And I swelled up like a balloon and almost died. And it took 9 months of getting off that medication. And I literally deflated like a balloon. I have like this extra grandma arm because I used to be a 24W. And it's not funny that my ex-husband was friends with that minister, and my ex-husband cheated. And where I was sick for a while, he probably found a girlfriend, and it was probably Katie, in that church. And they couldn't have me sitting in there and be well because Dave's already found somebody else. So he told everybody I was faking I was sick and thinking I got well while he was creeping. 2 months later, I had nothing to do with that traffic accident, and he had nothing to do with me having endometriosis, having all those surgeries and kidney surgeries. Nor did he have anything to do with me going to pain management. They gave me the wrong medication and almost killing me. And then me having to work with a doctor with fentanyl and muscle relaxers and get out moving for 9 months. It was 2 months later I got well. That minister made up that lie. And Rod, using his family's tragedy as a con, he ought to be ashamed of himself. You know, they had said that he showed up and told that agent that how he was so devastated. It was 15 years after that kid got killed in a traffic accident. He's a millionaire, runs $1 million business, construction, electrical. If he's devastated, he couldn't run it. He had active in his church. He was devastated he couldn't do that. He goes on big vacation, has other children, grandchildren. He couldn't do everything. He's an overachiever. He's very successful. Why? Because he got over it. and to use his son's death in his son's name to help that church run a con. He's a con man. I put it on Facebook. He's a con man. Or extremely mentally ill, or both. Because how dare him use that little boy's death? It was Phil's fault. If he would have stopped at a stop sign, it wasn't even the semi's fault. He pulled out in front of him. He just went right through the stop sign, and the semi going the other way hit him. Had nothing to do with nothing. They had nothing to do with me getting well either. I was talking to my neighbor about it. He said, none of that's connected. I said, I know that. And that minister just made it up because they were friends, and he was probably already cheating. He couldn't have me sit in that church. And so they all believe him. They fell for it. But the cops have always known that it was a medication error that made me that sick, because they were talking about it in the beginning of the case. They came out and said it last year. It's a good thing you got off all that medication. It was a medication error, even though it was 20 years ago. They should have caught it, but they didn't. You got out moving, got off of everything. But do you realize how disgusting those bastards are? You know, those neighbors were laughing yesterday where those women were in Trinity Gospel on Sunday. And they said, we sold the login to the case. We made a lot of money. We told Melissa to stay honest. Melissa got caught stating by the police to tell her kids to lie from Michelle, one of Dave's girlfriends. And the kids in a legally booked house, they made everything up. They're documented liars. In like 20 or 21, I was outside of Josh and Dixie's house. Some guy pulled in and went to call the police on me. And they said, we want a reporter for Melissa kids. It's documented mean jokes. Leave her alone. She did nothing wrong. Yeah. They told them in like 2021 they were documenting mean jokes. Her and that are called, trying to further themselves. I even have Dixie tape with her permission of knowing about the mean game of pretend Flora was laughing. They told Flora they were lying on Thanksgiving of 18. There's a video of it. So yesterday when I pull in, they said, those people said, we found the tape of those women admitting they sold the case. They were in Trinity Gospel. We told Melissa to stay out of this. We made enough money to sell the login of the case. They're part of the Detroit boys. The feds and them have got into it before for them wiretapping other businesses, getting in their computer. Now they're in the feds. And then they're going on. We heard there was a retired Judge beaten in her home before. He didn't have any authority to be there. It's like, duh. He's going to go down for this. Ha! The FBI wouldn't dare fix this after what one of their agents did. How could they dare not to? Now, either FBI agent John, where they made fun of him for fooling him, he either gave Eric the money, and that's still embezzlement, or they hacked into the FBI pay, and they stole my money. They're already into their federal database. Those neighbors were saying, we found the tape of those women admitting they sold the case. We looked them up, it is them. We called the police on them. Other neighbors said it's funny. They were telling everybody she has charges. We looked her up, there's nothing against her. They were all lying. It's all a big scam. That's why they're laughing at everybody. June 30th, 23 men in Metzger's Park. The guy running its Real Socialite. We're laughing for a light of the party. How he fooled all these people into helping out with the son of the tapes before. And they all fell for it. And he fooled everyone into helping out. And he stole everything for himself. Well, that's November 1822, Walmart 62. Eric comes in screaming by the hair salon. All the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it. My idea to say it. My idea to do it. For all these people turn on her, they actually fell for it. Well, if it's only you I could take care of. I know it's that bad, and they still fell for it. It's stalking. It's entrapment. Drugs. You know what the stunt is? Kick in my door. Sell me and Dave on porn sites. Tape me in the bathroom, showering. Photoshop a shower scene. That's clicking and pasting. Wake up with bruises all over me, throwing up, headaches, seen by all my family physicians. They didn't know what was wrong with me. Get a severe personal infection, here and being human trafficked, under drugs, beaten, raped, and drugged up and told to say, I guess, weirdo stuff. In stalking tapes in that agent and arrest him. And they were talking where I tried to tell that agent someone told on me the night before and he called me a liar. They said it was him. And up at Apostolic Church of Barberton, they were saying that he was using Vega as an excuse. His lies and his con. Someone needs to fix this. People have died and people have been taken around me. And I was almost murdered in protective custody.